So these are some very simple beginner exercises to support the optimal health, awakening activation of the Ajna chakra and the corresponding organs it rules over: the pineal gland, the pituitary gland, the brain, the nervous system, the nadi system, but also the endocrine hormonal system. So we're going to begin with a sitting posture here, just sort of awakening the spine through inhale and exhale. And when we exhale, the chin comes to the chest and the breath is completely expelled. Emptying that breath, you could also, because I'm pregnant I can't engage, but you can take the navel in towards the spine and fully empty in this kriya, this nauli kriya, but also this uddiyana bandha engagement towards the spine. So we're really just awakening the spine. Think of it like a snake. It wants to become fluid, to take out the rigid patterns in the spine. So it's inhale as you open up. There's a massage for your thyroid. Deep breath in, looking up, taking the light into the body. Using Ujjayi breath if you're familiar with that. And then exhale, rounding, opening up the back of the heart, rounding the shoulders forward, engaging the navel all the way into the spine, emptying all the way out. Chin is at the chest, opens up the nape of the neck and the occipital ridge, this cave of Brahman, just at the base of the skull. So it's inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. And you continue that flow to really just warm up the spine so that you can get the sense of fluidity and flow and an ease throughout the spine. So this is very good for the nervous system, which we really want to pay attention to in order to heal the Ajna chakra. So from here, and you could do this a good 4 to 5 minutes, then we're going to come into this supported child's pose. And you could try any sort of variation you like. But I'm going to take a block. You can makeshift with some books. Something fairly firm is good because we want to actually stimulate this acupressure point here at the third eye. So just in the center above the eyebrows. So I'm just going to place the block upright, or the book, or whatever you can find that is solid. You might find a little stool or something. Just be creative with your props. And then essentially kind of take the knees wide, preparing for balasana, the child's pose, but we're just going to rest the third eye here. Now we might like our forearms on the ground, just to sort of hug around that block of support, and really deeply relaxing the belly as you let the weight of the head drop down, quite a firm pressure at the third eye. And we enter into a restorative pose here. So you can even have a blanket over you, but you want to take a good sort of 5 minutes here with the eyes closed. And you might find it's good for the neck. You feel it eases out tension from the neck. Hands resting on the ground or supporting your block from moving. And if you were more on a sort of less high raise and you're on the block sideways, for example, then you might find that it's fine to thread the hands through and drop into child's pose this way. More pressure comes into the third eye, but that might actually feel really nice. And thereby you're also opening up the neck, draining the tension away from the shoulders as you thread your hands, both hands, with the left palm on top of the right through. So it's another variation of child's pose, but at the same time, if possible, feel the sense of sinking down the sit bones towards the heels to open up and relax the hips. So the sacrum actually really opens up. And then the attention really is the breath. And this is where we're going to bring in the Ajna chakra mantra, the which is kind of written as like NNG, and use that reverberation and really deeply focus the drishti, the meditation, into the third eye, which is in the center of the brain. So this option, threading through. And although I'm demonstrating quickly, really take your time with this. It's restorative yoga, so you really want to go into a good 5 minutes. and feeling that massage for the brain as it's like firm pressure here, but you're also using the vibration to release tension, strain, eye strain, stress patterns. Once you've really sunken into that, you'll find you're like the deeper within. Then you can feel, if you feel warmed up, I'm going to just show some sort of inversions that we can do, which will benefit the endocrine, the hormonal system, but also help open and activate the third eye. So from here, we can just come into the first option, coming into just a little tabletop without collapsing the lumbar. Keep the length through the spine, tailbone drawing away from the crown drawing away from the tailbone, thereby taking out compression between the vertebrae. Important that we have this optimal nerve flow so you can feel the currents through the body. No vertebra is impinged. And then plugging the hands so that we root deep into the earth and draw the power from the earth. This will help us come out of adrenalization. This will help rejuvenate, reset, clear exhaustion. There's other symptoms that can happen when the third eye is either blocked or overstrained. It's sort of stress, mental anxiety, sort of mental tensions of different kinds, but also just adrenalization. So you want to really slow it down here, really enjoy just the simpleness of the benefit of each posture. As you plug down to earth, feel the knuckles engage, really rooting like you're plugging plugs into the mainline socket, and feel the power you're drawing from the earth to give you energy. And up through your knees, which are in alignment to your hips. Resting the shins down on the ground. As you start to press down, that gives you the power to lengthen the spine and rise up. And bring the neck into a neutral position first of all. So ease out the neck. If it's feeling tensioned, if it's feeling strained, just create some head rolls with a soft jaw. Important you're not clenching your teeth. And then we just shift from one side to the other. So you get increased mobility through the pelvis, maybe making some circles. And then just flowing the spine again, just to warm up the entire spine and that optimal nervous system flow. All the while, if possible, using Ujjayi breath to activate the parasympathetic nervous system. So we feel that deep, calm, slow-mo movement of flow. From here, we might be ready to come into the first setup where we're going to come into the hare pose. So for hare pose, I'm going to show different options as well for the arms, so you can choose what's good for you. But first of all, it's like we're just pouring out the mental waste. Open the trapdoor in your brain and literally just allow the crown of your head to pour down as you bend the elbows, releasing waste out of the brain, the feeling of all just mental tension, thoughts, fixations, let everything go and give it down to earth. And even if it feels tender, that point is vital to be stimulated for the pineal gland, major acupressure points for the master hormonal centers. So if you can either just stay here for a bit like this. When you feel ready, maybe take the knees in a little bit closer and start to get hold of your hands so you can feel the interlacing of your fingers. If that's actually impossible, use a belt, a yoga belt or any other belt, and tie it between your hands so you can hold up here and start to open up the shoulder girdle by drawing the hands over the head. So you might be holding onto a belt here, or you could also just take the option to open the chest by holding onto the elbows. Either way, we start to work rolling on the head, on the top point of the head. And as you take the hands over and back, you can just pulse, like find a rhythm to flow with that. Taking the hands maybe a little bit more as you fully exhale. Inhale back and then taking them a little bit further, thinking them as the ears of the hare. So you're also really massaging the cranial points here, helping open the skull a little bit, helping open and create space there from clamping head tension. So this is another good one for headaches and sort of migraines as well. So you can feel that flood to the brain. All the anti-aging benefits of the inversions come in. It's all the endocrine system is stimulated. But you feel also that when you invert, you are literally bathing your brain in cerebral spinal fluid. So you can feel the activation of all those endorphins, which is why we usually tend to be quite happy when we're doing headstands or in inversions quite a lot. It actually helps balance us, especially if we're living in England without much sun. So from here, this rolling, rocking, nurturing rhythm on the top of your head, not your forehead. So you can just open up the shoulders a little bit there and get those pathways open. If you've been comfortable with that, you might like to come into trying a little dolphin, sort of forearm. So we place the forearms onto the ground without collapsing your lumbar and your back. Keep the back level and straight. Feel the two-way force of the yin and the yang. So something's pulling you from your tailbone and also drawing the opposite direction from your crown. When your forearms are on the ground, if possible, we make them like train tracks, rooting the palms down. But what will tend to happen is the elbows slide out. So we really need to use our triceps to engage and draw in. And you feel that opening through the back of the heart, and the scapula draws down the back. So you feel the lats engage down towards the tailbone, and we really actively draw our elbows in. Hugging them in will engage the triceps here, taking off the pressure of the antagonist muscles, these shoulder muscles that tend to bunch up here. See if you can just draw them back, plug into the earth again, curl your toes under, and start to pour your head like you're pouring a jug of water down, and then lift the head off. The heels can be up, and you're coming into, like you would do the downward dog, just allowing the tailbone to rise up to the sky, making a triangle with the body. If you're plunging like here, notice and try and draw the top thighs back a little bit. Keep the hands plugged in, the armpit muscles fired up, the triceps engaged, elbows drawing in towards each other, thumbs are touching, index fingers are touching, fingers are spread out, heels are drawing down, quadriceps are engaged, the bundles of the knees are engaged, and you're allowing those sciatic lines, the bladder meridian lines, to just draw down through the back, all the way down the back of the legs, down towards the heel. And you might just do it a few moments, deeply breathing in, breathing out, and coming back, pausing, deep breath, and breathing out. Inhale, exhale, and then we can try the third eye focus with the mantra. So trying this for a few minutes at a time. Again, I quite like to use the practice of undulating. So you stay in something, a few moments, give it the vibration, focusing on the third eye chakra as your head is down, as your neck is long. And then when you pause, exhale, you come back into that forearm sort of little bridge version, just to integrate between. And then when you revisit it, you notice that the spine opens up a bit more, everything opens up a bit more, it can go deeper. So you don't have to hold and lock in, more keep a sense of exploration, to unravel, to explore, to unwind, and allowing those lines, I kind of call them the train track, adrenal lines of the body that come up through the back, all the way up through the kidney pathways, adrenals, all the way up into the neck and up into the occipital ridge. When we're sort of stressed under tension, they tighten up, and the quadratus lumboris really like just tightens up with it. Psoas tightens up. So really we want to just lengthen the back body and engage the bandhas of the knees to activate the quads to draw up, which will release the hamstrings like a kind of conveyor belt. So you're working with a two-way force. The front of the legs are drawing up, the back is sliding down. So you're using Uddiyana Bandha. Even though I can't demonstrate that, you can really use the power in your center to draw in and to create that energetic, empowered seal. You could also use Mula Bandha as well, where the perineum engages and seals in as you breathe with this in this forearm. Now from here, you might like to experiment taking one leg up and the other, and if you're used to coming into forearm balance, go for it. And that isn't necessarily a restorative version, but if you feel like comfortable with that, it might be a good thing to go with. So just to explore it a little bit more, if you wanted to go into an advanced option, you come into the same setup, toes are curled under, rooting the forearms down, the palms down, thumbs touching, hands spread, plugging in, rising up, and you might like to step your left foot into the middle center point and rise up the right. And then just doing little pulses. And then you could swap round. Straight legs, just like scissors. And then again, pausing. Inhale. And coming back in, either to this version of dolphin, flattening the back, watching if you're plunging and rolling forward, try to take the thighs back. And you can try one leg up and then the other. Or from there, if you felt you wanted to, you could walk your feet closer to your head and draw up from the core into the full shoulder arm balance, into the forearm balance. So from that inversion, it seems natural we could go into a supported version of Shasasana, into a headstand. And the first option I wanted to demonstrate was imagining you're doing it on a sofa. And so I have a sofa here, and you're on the flat part of the sofa, and you're literally going to reach down towards the ground on the same forearm principle and just enjoy the benefit of inversion, dangling the head or taking the option to let the head come onto the ground, up to you. So that you can actually feel a headstand. If you're not familiar with a headstand or you haven't done it before, then you don't need to do it. You can actually just have the same benefit through coming into this sofa adjustment for this pose. So you come into your sofa and you reach for the ground and you let your head release. Just give it a little wobble. And your knees are bent and your shins are just resting on the cushion part, the flat of the sofa. And you might use anything else. You can be creative with your furniture. And then you come down onto the forearm. So the bum is in the air, but the spine is lengthened, floating the vertebra. Now you can choose the option, first of all, forearms are down, or actually feeling the stimulus on the top of that acupressure point, the top and middle point of the skull, which opens up the whole skull, releases the brain. So you can actually enjoy the pressure of it like a massage with your head down, or be as a forearm balance, resting on the forearms. My hands are flat, my thumbs are interlaced, but you might want to have it so that you make an interlacing of your fingers, like we would in a headstand, supporting the back of the head. So try out a different option there. If you're really familiar with headstands, you could always just go from here into using the sofa as a support and then coming into your headstand. And then playing around with different leg options that you like. Maybe just feet together or up, extending through the heels, to release the back body, engaging the forearms down and trying to come into a hollow body where your ribs draw in. When the ribs are drawn in, you're powered up through your core to support the headstand. And as you really root down, you feel that extension of rising up as if someone's pulling you from your heels, or you point your toes and they're pulling you up through the tips of your toes. So if you were here in the headstand, you'd take a good minute at least to just feel the recorrection of the blood flow. So you feel this fresh blood flow from the feet all the way down to the knees, down through to the pelvic region, nourishing blood flow to the womb, the lower back, all the way down towards the head. So this is only if you're familiar with doing headstand, of course. Otherwise, stay with this first version where you're resting on the sofa, knees are bent, and you're using the ground here to really get this principle of foundation solid. Elbows drawing in towards each other, making a triangle. So the triangle is the tips of your hands at the top of the triangle and then pouring your head between. And you feel that solid, grounded pressure to root into the earth. And you can take your time here because this one's a very powerful one to really open and optimize that cranial pulse. And to take out any kind of pressure that might have been building in the brain, the head area. And if you start to focus now also on the Ajna chakra, you'll find it helps open and activate as you get all this fresh blood flow, all the anti-aging benefits of the inversion. You can sense that sort of deep calm descending as you breathe in and out. If you want to try it as well, you can use that mantra. When you come out, try to keep the head low and find a place to go straight into child's pose. Another variation of child's pose that I'm just going to demonstrate is fist on fist at the third eye, stacking the fists, taking the knees wide, resting on the forearms as well, letting the belly just hang loose, soft, as you rest your third eye in this sort of cranial hold, closing the eyes, diving deep inside into the Ajna chakra focus, into that deep, calm, centering focus. And we'll close with 3 Oms. Om. 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 Once you've gone through that last child's pose, you want to close your practice with Shavasana. Take at least 7 minutes to 10 minutes in Shavasana, really just allowing the unfurling of the flower. And if it's feeling that it's too much in your lower back to lie in your back with your legs straight out, then have the knees bent and slightly resting in on each other, just to help open up the back of the sacrum, the back of the pelvis. And if it feels like you need to, because there's some tension in the lower back that sort of comes out, or even in the neck, you could just roll out the head, pressing quite firmly in to realign the cervical spine after that inversion. Rolling here with the knees bent, side to side. Deep, slow Ujjayi breath. Taking the head as far wide as you can down to release tension in the neck and draw the shoulders away from the ears, and then do the opposite. way as well. So you pressed in there a little, you might notice a sort of click or a pop in the cervical spine where it helps to drop it down. Releasing neck tension, which can be a symptom of the blockage in the third eye. And then from here we bring our knees together if you want to, otherwise just going straight into Shavasana. And we're just going to create a little rocking motion as you swing both knees together, but you look the opposite direction, taking your hands out wide. Breathing in, exhale. We just swing the legs, so you're massaging the back of the pelvis. And maybe the knees don't come down to the ground, it's up to you. Just a sort of nurturing way to just sort of twist out before we take our knees towards each other and sink into the version of Shavasana if you want to take this version. This can help release the piriformis to the outer hips as well. So you're just helping the pelvis really drop in and relax. So there's a deep grounding, earthing principle to our final integration pose of Savasana. And then we drop into that deep breathing through the body as if we're breathing up through the feet, up to the crown. Exhale, traveling down, scanning through the body in a full body scan. So we can feel every cell awake and vibrating with full awake presence, and emptying out. So my hands are just demonstrating the flow of the prana all the way up to the crown, emptying out, releasing down to the earth. Until the palms eventually rest, palm facing up. Maybe you just draw the shoulders in a little and just tuck the scapula down the back, grow the neck long, draw up through the crown, shoulders perhaps slide away from the ears. And we drop into that deep abiding stillness where everything's awake. But this is the perfect setup for Yoga Nidra, the ultimate Ajna chakra practice, which I'll guide you within the next video. Thank you. Om Asatoma Satgamaya Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya Mrityoma Amritam Gamaya. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Loka Samasta Sukhino Bhavantu. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Hari Om.